so much, Rev Vicki, for joining us, for saying yes. As you mentioned before we started, you had been invited a few times, and this time you said yes, and that this is your first online Unity gathering. So thank you for being here with us. So Reverend Vicki first came to Unity in 1988 in Victoria, BC. She was inspired and supported by the Unity principles, and after experiencing how they made a difference in her life, made a commitment to be part of the Unity movement. She became a licensed Unity teacher in 2001, and in 2015 was ordained. Rev Vicki has traveled extensively and studied with a variety of teachers all around the globe, including His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Wow. Vicki is committed to living the spiritual principles, being kind to herself when she falls short, and encouraging others to find ways to express their own unique and divine expression. So please give a warm welcome to Rev Vicki Vanderhorst.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Have I got there we go. Hi. Well, I'm really, really happy to be with all of you this morning. And thank you, Cheryl, for being persistent and asking over and over again. Cheryl is a very good and dear friend of mine. We serve together on the Unity Canada board. And I recognize many faces here this morning from our Unity Canada conferences. So it really is my honor and my joy to be here this morning. The title of my talk, Peace is My Nature. Peace is my nature. This is what we call a truth statement, meaning that it is based on spiritual principles, as Cheryl was talking about. So we're familiar with our 5 Unity principles. I think it's a wonderful idea to rewrite them in your own words. That's a great exercise. And that is the first one. Well, if we have a really shortened version, it's the first 2 are God is and I am. Everything that God is, I am. We inherit our divine nature from our Creator, and the Creator can only reproduce what it is. And so if God is peace, then I am peace. Well, that might be the truth, but is that our experience? I'll speak for myself. I am not always 100% peaceful. Some days it seems like I'm just going in and out of peace all day long. So why is that? If my nature is peace, then why can't I maintain it all day? Well, a number of things come to mind that I thought we'd just have a look at this morning. So first, we'll start with the big picture, which is kind of the world, I think. We can listen to the news, right? It can be very discouraging. We can think that most of the world is at war, and there is no peace on this planet. One thing to remember is that peace is more than the absence of war. So as we look around at the world, we may think it's all in turmoil. And I can tell you from my travels and having lived in many, many different countries and cultures for lengths of time, it's not true. When I spend time in different, so for instance, one of the places that I spent a lot of time in is India. And we stay in this little town. And just before dawn, I'll hear the call to prayer coming from the mosque a few blocks away. And then about an hour later, I'll start hearing the bells from the Hindu temple, because everyone in the neighborhood will go to the temple before they go to school. You see little kids with their little school packs on, running through there, businessmen with their briefcases going through, mothers on their way to the market. They all go through the temple to get a blessing and to ring the bell. Then at noon, we hear church bells from a cathedral that's also in this little town. This little town, the cathedral's been there since 1502. It's very, very old. And then there's a Jewish synagogue. Now, all of these people live in peace. They are good neighbors to each other. Their children play with each other. It's very harmonious. And I see this over and over and over again as I travel. So I invite you to keep in mind that there are billions of people on this planet that are living in peace. We can easily be disheartened or even negative about some of the things that are happening. So I invite you to check to see if your news diet is balanced. Too much of anything can make us sick. A bird needs 2 wings to fly. So if it sounds like all the news that you can hear is not that good, then I really encourage you to look online, and it's easy to find. If you look, there are many sources to find time to find and celebrate the good, because it's happening all over the planet. Deep in our hearts, we all want peace, right? For everyone. We hold this in our prayers. It's part of what we've already heard this morning. We want the world to be a peaceful place. But how can we, as one person, do that? Well, here's some words from Lao Tzu, written in 250 BC. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. So that would be you and me right here, right now. So what are we bringing to the world? Are we an expression of peace? Are we adding more peace to the world? Well, when you look around your neighborhood, or perhaps you go to the mall or something like that, often what you'll see is people hurrying around, arguing over parking spots, frowning on their faces. Peace can feel really far away. And then I look at myself. Am I one of those people with a frown on my face? Sometimes I am. Have you noticed that 1 minute you're feeling peaceful, and then something happens, or you have a thought and gone? The whole process happens so quickly without our even being aware. We just lost our peace. I went to a farm market a few weeks ago, and there's just, one little dirt road in, and then a little gravel parking lot, and one little dirt road out. So as I'm exiting, 2 cars in front of me, the person stops. Well, there's only 1 lane, so, person in front of me stops, I stop. I'm sitting there thinking, why are they stopping right in the middle of the exit? And then there's cars that are stopped behind me and cars that are stopped behind them. So now I'm starting to fume a little bit, and eventually everything gets sorted out. The car goes ahead and everybody goes ahead and we all get sorted out. But there were very many unhappy and disgruntled, impatient people, including me. When I was finally able to drive away, I continued to replay the incident in my mind. Why did they stop in the middle of the exit? Didn't they notice all the people they were blocking? And then I caught myself, thank goodness, fairly quickly. Really, Vicki? Does my peace of mind have so little value that I will toss it away when someone holds me up for a few minutes? My peace of mind is one of my greatest treasures. Why would I discard it so quickly? Let this one incident rob me of my peace. Does my peace really depend on circumstances or people? I truly hope not. And if so, that means that my happiness is at the whim of anything that anybody says to me, anything that happens around me, wherever I am. And I do not want to live like that, blown this way and that. If peace on the planet depends on my heart, the question is, how do I find that peace in my heart? Let's go back to our principles. Peace is embedded within us. It is encoded in our spiritual blueprint. We have within us, because we are one with all good, with spirit, with divine mind, with source energy, whatever name you want to give it, because we are one with that, we have an infinite supply of peace.
Where is it?
We cannot use it up. We have a well of peace that's always available to us. So if that's true, then peace is not something to seek. The question really is, what can we do to cultivate, nurture, and activate the infinite peace that is already within us? We talk about peace of mind, but we experience it not only in our minds, but in our bodies and in our hearts. All of these can give us a clue about when we are out of alignment with peace. So non-peace in our minds, what does that look like? Well, having these inner conversations, these uncontrolled thoughts going round and round. I should have said that. They should have said this. Next time I'm going to say that. Why didn't they? Why don't they? Why didn't I? Like what was going on for me in the parking lot after that incident. So when I catch myself in these inner conversations, I know I am far from being at peace. Perhaps you can relate to that. So that's our minds. What about our bodies? Our bodies are reflecting back to us all the time, sending us messages about what's going on at a very, very deep level. But we rarely listen. We have learned really to ignore or discount the uneasy feeling we might have, the gut ache, or the tightness in our shoulders, or the tenseness in our jaw. These are all signs we could pay attention to that will help us see what is going on inside. And then there's our hearts that we close when we judge others, when we are angry, when we are disgruntled, when we are irritated. We put up a wall to protect us, because those feelings are not pleasant. And at the same time, that same wall is the one that prevents us from experiencing all the good things, the laughter, the joy, the compassion, the joy, joy again, the beauty. When we find ourselves angry, irritated, judgmental, we might find ourselves actually criticizing ourselves. I should know better, right? I can't believe I did that again. Today I was going to be peaceful all day, and here, and now I've lost it. But can you see how, if we criticize ourselves for losing our peace, we are just creating more non-peace? When we are able to observe our own nature without judgment, we are creating peace. Making a commitment to peace does not mean that there is no turmoil, no trouble, disappointments, or pain. It does not mean that everything goes our way, or that everyone magically agrees with us, or appreciates us, or even treats us the way we want to be treated. No, it means that in the midst of all of these situations, we remain calm and peaceful. We gently catch ourselves leaving our peace and take a moment to breathe and bring ourselves back. Let's notice when we've closed our hearts. Let's notice when our bodies are tense and are trying to tell us something. Let's notice when those thoughts and those, he should have, I should have, they didn't, go round and round in our minds. Let's just catch ourselves in that space and open back up. It's our choice all the time. Pema Chodron, in her book, Practicing Peace, says this: "This is the real work of the peacemaker, to find the soft spot and the tenderness in that uneasy place and stay with it. If we can stay with the soft spot, with a tender heart, then we are cultivating the seeds of peace. This is the work of the spiritual warrior, the true practice of peace. Being consciously on the spiritual path does not mean that we are going to be a perfect expression of the divine in every moment, that we are untouched by the challenges of human life. Being consciously on the spiritual path means that we recognize when we are off center and we know how to bring ourselves back. So I invite you to develop some strategies and be aware of the circumstances or perhaps even the people where you tend to lose your peace, so that you can prepare yourself as you go into these situations, so that you can do your perhaps a meditation or some recall one of our 12 faculties, as Cheryl calling them, so that we can stay strong and centered and peaceful no matter what's going on. And if we lose it, how do we bring ourselves back? You will know what works for you. Perhaps just taking a quick walk around the block, or even looking out the window and, well, I was going to say watching the birds, but maybe watching the snowfall. There's so much beauty in nature. Perhaps listening to a favorite song, or having a cup of really yummy tea, or calling a friend. Figure out what works for you, because the faster that we identify when we've lost our stance of peace, and the quicker we can bring ourselves back, the more we are contributing peace to the world, which is what we want to see. Reverend Thomas DeShooter out here on Vancouver Island had a little acronym called PBS, and it's pause, breathe, and soften. And I just love that. It's easy to remember. I really like those kinds of things. So when we can feel that we are not peaceful, we can pause, take a breath, soften. We can do this. We can be a presence of peace wherever we are. It is the best gift we can give to ourselves, everyone around us, and really the entire world. So I invite you now to join me in a time of quiet contemplation. So as we enter into this time of meditation, perhaps a deep breath is something that helps you settle, center yourself. So I invite you to do that right now at your own pace. We take time now to unite in a conscious awareness of the divine. I invite you, if you are comfortable, to relax in your chair and do a quick body scan. You can shake out any tension you feel, perhaps take a conscious breath or close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. As we enter into this sacred activity of prayer, we focus on the sweet truth of our oneness. We are aware of the presence of peace within us and all around us. I am at peace this very moment, heart-centered and serene. Rest in this tranquil moment, mindful of your breathing. And as you focus on your breathing, you could hold this centering thought. I inhale life and I exhale peace. I inhale life and I exhale peace. Breathing consciously, I say to my thoughts and my feelings, let there be peace. Let peace arise from within, permeating my mind and my whole entire being. Let there be a flow of peace, replacing every anxious or worrisome thought. Let there be peace. Centered in love that flows with no limits or conditions, let me cultivate harmonious thoughts that lead me to speak and act in peace. Let me hold peace as a precious jewel, a delicate treasure. Let me be in the world radiating kindness, compassion, in keeping with the God of peace that is my source. This sacred time of prayer has quickened divine energy in us, blessing our lives and all life. And we now prepare to bring this sacred activity to a close, renewed and refreshed, re-energized and ready to be an open channel, an expression of kindness, harmony, joy, and peace in every circumstance. Let's remind ourselves of the truth. Peace is my true nature. I have within me an infinite supply of peace, impossible to empty, always available. I am an expression of divine peace. And so for this time, when we come together in unity, in oneness, in our pure potential of our divine nature, we are grateful. We are the ones that make the change in the world. And so we step into those opportunities wholeheartedly, joyfully, knowing that we are strengthened and supported and sourced by the divine. And in this state of gratitude, we declare this is so, and so it is. Amen.